Tonight, we're focused on the kind of art that's free and available to everyone. Communities around the country have discovered that supporting art in public places can revitalize an area, draw more visitors, and be good for the bottom line. In Colorado, thanks in part to the 18 state-designated creative districts, residents and visitors enjoy a wide variety of public art. In downtown Colorado Springs, for instance, you can hear virtual birds in the bus station or marvel at the toys suspended high in the air between two buildings. From Rocky Mountain PBS in southern Colorado, Kate Prudoni reports.
Our downtown is a huge driver in terms of the economy of the entire region.
Claire Swinford helps manage the Colorado Springs Creative District through her work with the Downtown Partnership. She says there is no city funding for public art, but the Downtown Partnership recognizes the value of maintaining a rotating exhibit. They call it Art on the Streets.
We have a Creative Vitality Index score of about 5.4, so that's 5 times the national average in terms of what local creatives are doing to bolster our economy. And that's everybody from architects and web designers to fine artists and performing artists. We all know that public art brightens up a space, it makes it more interesting to look at, it's a great draw for tourists and school groups, but it also has a role to play just in terms of making people more happy to be outside and on the sidewalk.
Here, sidewalk traffic signal boxes are easier on the eyes thanks to Phil Lear, one of more than a dozen local artists whose work has been featured. He chose to honor figures who have made a difference in Colorado Springs history, including Nikola Tesla, Helen Hunt, Fannie Mae Duncan, and Lon Chaney. He says it's important to reach a broader audience.
Not everyone gets to go out, to First Friday openings or to go to see the local gallery, so they don't necessarily know what's here. When you're walking around the street, if you've never been to an art show, you can still see what your artists here in your town and your community are doing. Artists spend so much time, money, and effort trying to make things happen when they should just be making artwork. And when you have art on the streets, here's an opportunity for you to just do that.
For the first time, Art on the Streets exhibits feature elements of augmented and virtual reality.
One of those is inside the City Transit Center, the downtown bus station. What these artists wanted to do was create a visual representation of European songbirds, birds that you would never get to see or hear in the US. And they sound mapped them. They turned those sound maps into these sort of kaleidoscope-looking enameled plates. They don't look like a bird, but what they do look like is the way that sound looks when you map it on a computer.
Art on the Streets also worked with a developer out of Brooklyn to create a GPS-based app that interacts with each of the 11 current sculptures. Artists recorded short statements about their work.
Everything from our Brazilian artist who just decided to record the sounds of the rainforest outside his house to our very own juror of the exhibit, Joy Armstrong from the Fine Arts Center, recorded little snippets just to help you have more fun exploring the exhibit.
Ciao, it's me Turgay Durgun. I'm a sculptor and graffiti artist from Istanbul, Turkey.
Art on the Streets encourages viewers not only to look at their phones, but also to look up. Colorado Springs artist Sean O'Mealy's Polly Polly uses large inflatable pool toys suspended between two well-known buildings to add wonder to an alleyway.
It's kind of an unexpected discovery as you're walking, for anybody walking down the street. If they happen to look up, they'll be rewarded in a way by this thing that is just sort of a delightful presentation of toys in that negative space, in that otherwise forgotten, underused, under-considered space of the alley.
Is that your art?
Yes.
Excellent job.
Thank you.
Looks great.
Thank you. Thank you.
Polly Polly was acknowledged at the national level, earning a place in the Americans for the Arts annual directory. The installation also took Best in Show for 2016's Art on the Streets with a $10,000 prize. For O'Mealy, who paid for the installation himself, the prize was necessary to recoup expenses.
But this piece in particular delighted the jurors, the 3-panel jurors who were from all over the country, so much they just had to remark about it. They also remarked that, and this was done without any public funding. I had to come up with all the money for that, and that came out of my pocket. When I did install it, finally I got $1,000 to offset, which bought the cable rigging.
I do think that we might be on the verge of maybe looking at some public funding for public art, but I also feel that there's a responsibility in this city particularly to prove the value of it. Once you establish a track record, you can then begin to think about selling the idea to the public for public funding.
In 2017, Art on the Streets will also take advantage of Colorado Springs' distinction as Olympic City, USA, to place a piece of public art invoking core values of the Olympics, such as fairness, friendship, and personal effort.
This year, for the first time, you're going to see a piece in front of the City Administration Building that was put there by the Mayor's office as a celebration of our Olympic ideals and the way those get lived out in Colorado Springs.
These purple coneflowers by local sculptor Chris Weed were placed in front of City Hall as part of Art on the Streets in 2014. They honor an early champion of the program, former Colorado Springs City Councilwoman Judy Noyes. Friends think she'd be pleased to see how the program has grown.
So these purple coneflowers are Judy's favorite color, and they're sitting in front of her favorite building as a reminder to everyone who works there that public art has been and will continue to be a huge, important part of downtown Colorado Springs culture.